Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let's take up the daily quiz for today. Let's look at the first question. Which of the following statements are correct? Article 30 of the Constitution of India deals with the rights of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. It applies for both religious and linguistic minorities. The right of such educational institutions to receive government aid is a fundamental right. See, amongst the given statements, the third statement is incorrect. So option B is the right answer, 1 and 2 only. Now let's understand the context and what exactly Article 30 deals with. See, we have an article in today's The Hindu newspaper, according to which the Supreme Court has held that the right of an institution, whether it is run by a majority community or a minority community, its right to receive government aid is not a fundamental right. Article 30 of the Constitution deals with the rights of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. This right applies for both religious minorities and as well as for linguistic minorities. The article also provides for protection against acquisition of property by the state. And more importantly, it states that the state shall not discriminate against any minority educational institution when it comes to granting aid to the educational institution. So now the question is, how come the third statement in the question is incorrect? See, the third statement is incorrect because the Supreme Court has clearly drawn a distinction. Clause 2 of Article 30 states that the state should not discriminate against one particular minority institution. Now let's say there is a government scheme through which the government is providing aid and financial assistance to minority educational institutions. Then this aid should be available to all the religious and linguistic minority institutions equally. So this is a fundamental right. That is, the government should not discriminate against any particular institution. But if the government decides to cancel the program itself, then the institution cannot claim this aid as a fundamental right. That is what the Supreme Court has brought out in this particular case. The Supreme Court has said that if the government takes a policy decision to withdraw the aid itself or to withdraw the scheme itself, then a minority institution or a majority institution, they cannot go and claim this aid as a matter of fundamental right. So what is a fundamental right under Article 30 is that minority institutions cannot be selectively discriminated against. But if the government is suspending the scheme altogether, then an institution cannot go to court and claim this as a fundamental right. Now let's look at the second question. Recently, the term Aakash Prime was seen in news. What does it refer to? A collaboration between Amazon Prime and Education Ministry to run online classes. A new version of the Aakash surface-to-air missile developed by the DRDO. A weather monitoring system deployed by the IMD or the Indian Meteorological Department. A Earth observation satellite launched by ISRO for military applications. The correct answer is option B. Aakash Prime is a new variant of the Aakash surface-to-air missile which has been indigenously developed by the DRDO. We have an article in today's The Hindu newspaper that makes a reference to a successful test of Aakash Prime which has been conducted by the DRDO. See, Aakash is an indigenously developed surface-to-air missile which is used to deal with aerial threats, and it has already been inducted by the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force. Now the DRDO has developed a better variant which has been named as Aakash Prime. This new variant of the Aakash missile has been equipped with an indigenous active radio frequency seeker in order to improve the accuracy of the missile. The new variant of Aakash comes with enhanced features, and this surface-to-air missile has been developed to specifically suit the requirements of the Army and the Air Force. Now let's look at the third question. Which of the following statements are correct? The Kaveri River dispute is between Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. The sharing of the waters should be as per the Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal's decision of 2007, which was later modified by the Supreme Court in 2018. The central government has notified the Kaveri Water Management Scheme, which constitutes the Kaveri Water Management Authority and the Kaveri Water Regulation Committee, to give effect to the court's decision. All the three given statements are correct. Option D is the right answer. See, Article 262 of the Constitution provides the powers to the Parliament to enact a law in order to deal with interstate water disputes. So, according to this provision, the Parliament has enacted the Interstate Water Disputes Act of 1956, which provides for the constitution of tribunals to resolve water disputes between states. This article also prohibits the Supreme Court from interfering with the final decision taken by the tribunal. So, with regard to the Kaveri River dispute, the dispute is primarily between Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Puducherry, which fall under the drainage basin of the Kaveri River. To resolve this water sharing dispute, the Kaveri Water Disputes Tribunal was set up under the law, and this tribunal came out with its final ruling in the year 2007. Then, even though the Supreme Court is prohibited from looking into the orders of the tribunals, the Supreme Court has taken up cases against tribunal decisions under the scope of judicial review. So even after the final award was given by the tribunal, the Supreme Court took up the petitions filed by Tamil Nadu and it delivered a modified verdict in 2018. So in line with this direction of the Supreme Court, the centre brought out the Kaveri Water Management Scheme, under which the Kaveri Water Management Authority and the Water Regulation Committee have been set up to implement the orders of the tribunal and the Supreme Court. Now this topic is in news because according to this article in the Hindu, Karnataka has been directed by the Kaveri Water Management Authority to release a certain percentage of water to Tamil Nadu in order to make up for some of the shortfall that Tamil Nadu has received this year. And even Tamil Nadu has been directed to clear its deficit with regard to Puducherry. These decisions of the Kaveri Water Management Authority are in line with the Kaveri Water Management Scheme, which has been drafted based on the provisions of the tribunal's award and the modified order of the Supreme Court. Now let's look at the fourth question. The Taiwan Strait connects Strait of Malacca with Gulf of Thailand, or South China Sea with East China Sea, or the Andaman Sea with Gulf of Thailand, or the Indian Ocean with the Pacific Ocean. The correct answer is option B. The Taiwan Strait, or also known as the Formosa Strait, it connects South China Sea with East China Sea. See, the Taiwan Strait is very much in news because of the ongoing tensions between Western countries such as US and UK and China. We have discussed in several previous sessions that China, that is PRC, the People's Republic of China, which rules over mainland China, claims sovereignty over the island of Taiwan. This is a historical dispute that has existed since the PRC was formed in 1949 after throwing out the Republic of China, which then ruled over mainland China, and following its throwout from power, the Republic of China moved out to Taiwan and has continued to rule Taiwan. So essentially, the PRC has sovereignty claims over Taiwan, and it also expects other countries of the world, under its One China policy, to not recognize the government of Taiwan. So accordingly, most countries, including India, they do not have official diplomatic relations with Taiwan. But of late, due to rising tensions between the Western countries and China, especially between US and China, the Western countries have been trying to meddle in this dispute between China and Taiwan, and they even give diplomatic and military support to Taiwan to resist any diplomatic and military pressure from the PRC. So in this regard, the US Navy has often deployed its ships into the Taiwan Strait, which you can see over here, that connects the South China Sea with East China Sea. So such deployment of US naval ships has led to increased diplomatic and military tensions between China and the US. On similar lines, the United Kingdom has also deployed a warship into the Taiwan Strait recently, which has been reported in this article in the Hindu, and China has strongly criticized this move of the United Kingdom. Now let's look at a practice question from the 2020 prelims paper. Which of the following are the reasons or factors for exposure to benzene pollution? Automobile exhaust, tobacco smoke, wood burning, using varnished wood furniture, using products made of polyurethane. All the five are responsible for benzene pollution, and hence option D is the right answer. Now coming to the fact of the day, let's look at this article in the Hindu, which refers to the artillery guns of the Indian Army, especially the Dhanush artillery gun. See, the army has reported several issues with the indigenous artillery guns that have been designed, developed, and manufactured by the DRDO and the Ordnance Factory Board. One such indigenously developed artillery gun is the Dhanush. The Dhanush is essentially a howitzer or an artillery gun which is currently being used by the Indian Army after its use in service was approved in 2019. This project has been executed indigenously by the Ordnance Factory Board with technical assistance coming in from the DRDO. See, India has always struggled with the development of indigenous artillery guns. That is why we have gone for procurement from abroad. For example, we procured the Bofors gun from Sweden in the 1980s. Then more recently, we have procured the M777 howitzers from the United States and as well as the K9 Vajra from South Korea. These are the primary artillery guns being used by the Indian Army. But based on the design of the Swedish Bofors guns, the Ordnance Factory Board has indigenously built the Dhanush artillery guns. This gun has a range of around 38 to 40 kilometers and it can be deployed both in deserts and mountainous areas. It is also a smart weapon system as it comes with inertial navigation system for greater accuracy along with GPS navigation system, and it is also equipped with a tactical computer for onboard ballistic computations, and it has even been provided with an automated gun sighting system along with cameras, thermal imaging and laser range finder for increased accuracy in targeting. The Dhanush artillery gun has achieved an indigenization to the extent of 81% and the indigenous components are being boosted to 91%. But please do not confuse the Dhanush artillery gun with the Dhanush missile. The Dhanush missile developed by DRDO, it is a nuclear capable surface to surface missile which is a part of India's nuclear arsenal. The Dhanush missile is one of the variants of the Prithvi which has been developed by the DRDO under the Integrated Ballistic Missile Development Program. So please do not confuse the Dhanush missile with the Dhanush artillery gun. So with this, let's conclude our discussion for today. Thanks for watching.